And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today we're recapping FCS Football Week 5. We're blowing through this 2024. Definitely not the right use of word there. We're moving quickly through this 2024 FCS football season. We had a very close upset win for UC Davis and what can only be characterized as the most batshit ridiculous game that happened between Montana and Eastern Washington. All that coming up and more. Before we get to it, though, Sean, where can our listeners go and make some money? Wow, we got brutalized by FC Estimates this week.
Yeah, rough one. But if you want to make some money, that's BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform. As long as you're not betting on the Buffalo Bills in prime time, their number one source
bet
for
on the
everything
Bills?
football. Their Bills
That's
were
what
hot.
you get for fading me, idiot.
BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even
Who went
live odds.
3-0?
Can I do
Idiot.
the read?
Do the read.
Has every. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on your $200,000 mega contest. Pick 5 games against the spread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for your chance at weekly prizes, share $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to their online casino. Get in a game of blackjack or poker or slots. Given how my sports betting has gone, I can't imagine I'd lose any more on the slots. Head to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
That's what you get for being a total piece of garbage for fading me.
I won another game for Notre Dame this week, by the way. If I wasn't betting on that team.
And on my bets this week.
You had a good week.
We will recap that on the Wednesday show, which we go live 8:30 p.m. Eastern time every single Monday and Wednesday. That's going to be coming up on Wednesday, though. All right, we got to talk FCS action. Get to the water cooler. Recapping just some quick box score performances that stood out. First being Mercyhurst. Oh, what do you know? Welcome to FCS Football. They lose to Frostburg State 25-24. Go back to Division 2. That is abominable. Terrible. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, that's a little bit much, I'd say. But yeah, Mercyhurst, take a lap. You can't lose to D2 Frostburg State. Knew a lot of people that went to Frostburg.
That's unfortunate.
Not the best athletic school. Good for Frostburg for beating an FCS program, though. Yeah, take a lap, Mercyhurst.
Next score that stood out. North Dakota, who's been a rising program this season. They hung 72 on poor old Murray State. Where is Murray State? 72-35 was the final score. North Dakota, again, continues to build momentum. If anyone was wondering if they have an offense, 72 points says otherwise.
Really impressed with Simon Romfo. He threw for 3 in this game, and North Dakota ran for 5 touchdowns on the ground. They victimized Murray State. Much better basketball school than football school, but North Dakota not passing up an opportunity to stomp out an FCS bottom dweller. And flexing their muscles. This is a win with style win for North Dakota.
Banged up SIU takes another bad loss, but it's to another ranked team, so you can't completely fault them. Got to pick themselves off the mat with the situation they're currently in. Their loss comes to South Dakota, who's building up a nice resume, 42-13. It's as wide of a separation as you might expect. There was a reason why we didn't preview this one on the last show. Kind of had some ugliness. Ugly capabilities for how this could have turned out, and that's the direction it went in.
Yeah, South Dakota, though, lauding a top 2. They're competing, in my eyes, with Montana. Top 2 running back tandem in the country. Travis Thies and Charles Pierre Jr. Thies went for 25 carries, 147, and 2 touchdowns. Pierre Jr., 15 carries, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. How dominant are those two against this SIU defense that has performed decently well this year? What an impressive win from South Dakota.
According to the notes, North Dakota State beat North Dakota State pretty handedly. No, they beat Illinois State number 18 Illinois State, 42-10. Their resume continues to build. That ETSU close win that they had looks a little bit better. We're going to get to that in a second. But strong 42-10 victory over Illinois State.
Cam Miller doing non-Cam Miller early career things, only missing 3 passes in this game, 20 for 23, 215, and 3 touchdowns. Joe, Cole Payton, we've been very confused with his usage so far this season for North Dakota State. Broke off an 80-yard touchdown run and looked like if a moose turned into a person while doing so. He looks like Fred Flintstone running. If Fred Flintstone was 6'4", Adonis, and it was impressive. It's a good win for NDSU, and they continue to add another ranked win to their resume.
Albany out on the scope of being rankable, completely just deleted them off of my doc. 34-20 loss to Maine. Big 12 CAA continues to play up to those expectations of just complete and utter chaos, but Albany, I'm out. Poffenbarger's gone. I am completely out.
Yeah, Seven McGee can't carry the whole team. Maine, possible riser. Albany, we called them fraud watch. They are a little bit fraudulent as of right now. It wouldn't surprise me if they stole a win at the end of the season from the CAA favorite and turned the whole conference into turmoil. But right now, Albany off the bracket. Maine, good win.
Sac State was this weird team that I had my spreadsheet. I had my rating system based on resume, and Sac State was this weird team that kind of was just sitting there. Didn't really have a whole lot going on for them. Well, they lost to NAU. NAU continues to be the upset team, but won't beat anybody else on their schedule. If you're ranked, they'll beat you, but they won't beat anybody else. They pull out this victory 34-16. I don't know what to do with Sac State. I dropped them pretty heavily on my ballot, my stats perform ballot. But again, I am in bit of limbo here, not knowing how to rationalize what Sac State will be for the rest of the season.
I gave Sac State a proper demotion on my ballot. I still have faith in them, though. Northern Arizona is just a team that doesn't give a fuck when they're playing other teams.
Language.
You started it off with swearing early on.
I didn't swear at you.
Yeah, you did. Not at me. I think you were yelling about Mercyhurst cursing up a store.
No, I didn't. No. It was when I said bat shit or something.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that
for the Montana game.
They're both not FCC
shit's
compliant.
Allowed on shit's allowed on TV. Pat McAfee says shit all the time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So we're under Pat McAfee rules.
Yeah, we kind of are.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, hey, these are the rules I didn't understand.
F-words.
NAU doesn't give an F. They have a track record. Joe noted to it. They lost by 12 to Arizona this year. They have previously beaten UC Davis. They've beaten Weber State. They beat Montana last year, beat Idaho and Arizona 3 years ago. They don't care how highly ranked you are. They don't care if you're FBS and they're FCS and they're Northern Arizona. Who knew? Who knows? They're going to put up a fight if you're. They play up to competition the way you would hope and pray to God your favorite team would. And that's also behind Ty Pennington, 21 for 25, 240, and 2 touchdowns. Good game from him.
I also have losses to Incarnate Word. I don't.
Yeah, they'll lose some bad games, but they will win the crazy. I mean, really, if oh my God, eventually, if someone did a deep dive on NAU and what the water is that they're drinking there that gets them so riled up against big teams, share it with the rest of them. Give some to Rhodey.
It is a big party school. My cousin went there. The one that you met, the one that you met that was here for my parents' wedding.
Oh,
he went to NAU. So I guess that I don't know if that means anything, if that helps depict the craziness. They get up for a good time.
Gotcha.
That's about it. Wofford.
I'm sure I took all the blame for that night.
Wofford drops 1 to Mercer. The defense shows up 22-3. We know that. I almost made that a little more inappropriate than it needed to be. Unintentionally. Wofford Mercer has a really good defense. I'm just gonna end that statement there. I almost used the singular letter.
Oh, they're
too aggressively.
We're gonna go their D is strong or something like that.
All right, thanks. I was trying to avoid that. And I was trying to point out that I was avoiding that.
You could say D speaking about defense.
I said that. I was gonna say that D is really strong. That was what I was gonna say.
That's some suggestive language right there.
Yeah.
The defense is insane. 16 rush yards allowed versus Wofford. Wofford has a good running game. 130 pass yards allowed, no touchdowns. Insane from Mercer. They pick off a Mario Odom, competent quarterback in the FCS, 3 times. Mercer's legit. Everyone was yelling at me last year about I wasn't that in on Mercer when everyone was. I'm on the bandwagon now. You finally got me. Mercer finally has me in their claws, and now I can't escape because I'm paying too much attention.
Sean's the largest known hater of Mercer. If you're a Mercer fan, you should tag him and at him every single time he says anything about college football. He hates you. He personally has a vendetta against you and your well-being and your family, very specifically.
Okay, now we're airing out the dirty laundry. Let's get into Joe DeLeone film review.
ETSU. I have to give a ton of credit to ETSU. I put them on my ballot. They had a close game against North Dakota State, and they battled through what was probably the most insane situation. They were stuck on a bus, not able to get to their team hotel before they played the Citadel. I don't know. I believe Pat Forty had written an article about this, but he talked about this on the Inquirer this week, that they basically had no sleep. They were all sitting on the bus, and then they step into this game and they just suit up and go out there and play. They beat the Citadel 34-17. Bit of an indictment on the Citadel. Man, talk about a program that's fallen off quite a bit, but ETSU deserves a ton of love and recognition. That is ridiculous that they were able to power through all the adversity that they dealt with. I cannot imagine trying to sleep in a bus seat and then going and playing a football game.
Situations like that can either make a team super close and rally the team together, make them stronger, or incite total collapse, which I believe at Rhode Island, not to the coaching staff's fault or anything like that, we would have collapsed.
Oh, yeah.
We would have fought on that bus.
Yep.
Everybody would have been angry. We would have shown up flat. We would have
Someone would have
lost.
pooped their pants.
It would have been a bad scene. Credit to ETSU and Bryson Irby. He's a stud. He's a really good running back. He showed out in that North Dakota State game, put up another good performance this game, 125 and a tud. ETSU, congratulations for overcoming the odds that we could not have.
The first premier game that we're going to get to today, UC Davis 28, Idaho 26. The offensive woes finally come to fruition. Or not to fruition. They come full head here for Idaho as they caught up to them. UC Davis, man, I'm high on the way that Miles Hastings played in this game. He had a ridiculous completion percentage, going 25 for 32 for 248 and 3 touchdowns. Made a number of very beautiful throws that he had across the field. There is a bit of a QB situation brewing as the uncertainty at quarterback for Idaho continues to mount. 13 of 25 was Jack Wagner for 178 and 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Nick Josephic orchestrates what was a late comeback drive, but then failed 2-point conversion to tie the game, going 9 for 19 for 96 yards and a touchdown. Felt like the offense had a little bit more juice. Big top performer in the receiving end of things, though, Jordan Dwyer, who had 114 yards on 8 receptions. This game, I don't think that it's a sound the alarm game for Idaho. It just is a circumstance where you're going up against a great team on the road, and UC Davis deserves more love as a top 10 team, and they proved and showed why they're now in that conversation.
Yeah, this was a big Miles Hastings boss-up game. He looked like he was in control of the offense, where Jack Wagner did not look like he was in much control of his offense. He needs to be better. I'm sure Idaho fans need that, but if we're going to be honest about the game, he needs to be better to win that game against a legitimate playoff opponent that they may see later down the line. Hastings was stellar. Some of his touchdown passes were fantastic. He made the right decisions. He didn't turn the ball over. And Lane Larison, Walter Payton favorite and all that. You watch him play, he just has more juice than other people on the field. When he's turning the corner and jumping and diving into the end zone, that's what makes him so special. His ability to catch the ball on the sideline makes him special. If you watch him play, you understand where the hype comes from. Even if he doesn't have a major stat game, when they need a bump, when they need someone to really make a play, they turn to 3. They turned to him to do it, and he did it against Idaho, who tackles so well in space. This Idaho defense, they're not losing a step. UC Davis played out of their minds. They had a fantastic game, and this is a playoff game. This was a great one to watch. Coming down to the 2-point conversion. Did you like the rollout? I didn't hate the play. I just think they need
I don't mind a
better
rollout on a 2-point conversion. I think you want to get your quarterback moving. You want to create the ability for him to run into the end zone if the lane's open and if they're coming downhill. that would mean that there's vacated space for you to find and connect with one of your receivers. So I don't hate that. I don't hate the play. I think it was misrun. Like, you have a receiver who's so close to the out of bounds back of the end zone, and that's kind of what led to this. I think that route should have been a little bit more shallow to give himself room to come up and grab that ball.
I think that college players, all college players, FBS, FCS, that those deep end zones get so muddled when you're so close. I think it's overstimulating for quarterbacks. NFL guys, they're in the NFL for a reason. They know exactly where they need to go with it. College, I would stick to more creative flat work. I would stick to maybe a possible option, get a little trickier with it, have a 2-point conversion play that you know is going to hit. And if it doesn't hit because the defense makes a spectacular play beating you to the pylon, so be it. That's football, that happens. But roll out, I'm going to scan and see if I can find somebody open up in the back. I don't love that. I think it's way too cloudy. I really love like a Smurf route, break in, break out, and then he's just open in the flat.
Now, to note here with the quarterback situation for Idaho, Jack Wagner went down with an undisclosed injury. Nick Josephic steps in. You've got a redshirt freshman replacing a redshirt freshman. And I know that the context always needs to be brought up that when you're bringing in a quarterback that a team didn't scheme for that has a different skill set, it usually allows for your offense to get back into the game because the whole game plan goes out the window. I repeat that a million times over. It's something that is often extremely, very quickly forgot by many, many people. In this situation, though, it did feel like Josephic, there was a little bit more consistency on offense that allowed them to get into the game. I don't know the timetable for Jack Wagner's recovery, but I would wonder if there is not a little bit of a debate with two guys that are in the same class that maybe you turn to Josephic until he proves otherwise that he's not the guy. But right now there's a ton of uncertainty at quarterback, and it's kind of, it feels like, and we've brought this up before, it feels like that offense is holding them back from being what could be a top 3 team when that defense is as elite as it is and able to get the stops that they can. But sometimes being on the field as much as they are is going to hurt them.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a much heavier workload for Cummings out of the backfield. He only carried it 11 times. But if it becomes Cummings and Josephic running the rock for the next couple games, and then we're just going to try to splice the deep passes in every now and again, that could keep Idaho above water while they either develop Josephic or Wagner comes back and starts, getting better. But Josephic ran for 55 yards. Cummings can get 100 yards in a game. And then if Jordan Dwyer is open, just hit him while he's open. But they're going to have to just do more magical Idaho things and will out wins by the skin of their teeth. Teeth don't have hair. By the skin of their teeth, like they have been doing.
What did you just try to say?
I almost said hair of the teeth, by the hair of their teeth, and I walked it back.
I don't know how to move on from that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
Idaho is going to have to keep digging themselves out of holes due to injuries.
That's not what I'm. Okay, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. You've created a new phrase.
I wasn't trying to. I was not trying.
I don't think that you can just move past that because the absurdity of that wording is incredibly unique. We are going to try to move on. We're going to move to a game where Montana snuck by the hair of their teeth over Eastern Washington, 52-49. When I say that this game was on another plane, just another level in another dimension, you're on the red turf. It feels like you're watching a game that's being played in another country, and there's just absurdity with the scoring. I don't know what it is with this red turf. It just always produces craziness, especially in this Montana matchup when they face one another. Montana had a strong lead. Eastern Washington scrapped and clawed and fought to get back in it. Onside kick recoveries, you name it. And Montana hangs on. I think they deserve a ton of credit when you're able to boss up and lock down to stay and hold on that victory. Insane stat lines in this game.
Massive.
701 total yards for Montana. 551 total yards for Eastern Washington. We're talking about 1,250 total yards of offense. 1 penalty for 5 yards for Eastern Washington, I think, might be one of the more impressive things in this game. And then some of the individual stats. I know that you're probably going to reiterate some of these in Fat Stats.
Yeah.
Logan Fife, 30 for 42, 264, 5 touchdowns.
364.
364. Kakoa Vesperis, 265, 4 touchdowns. Nick Osmo, 160 yards rushing on 15 attempts. No losses. That was all past the line of scrimmage. There were no times where he was tackled behind the line. And then Eli Gilman, 109 on 11 attempts for a touchdown. This was a bonkers, stupid, crazy-ass game. We saw what was an instant classic between Alabama and Georgia, and this is the FCS equivalent because Eastern Washington stormers back, gets back into this game to a spot where they almost pulled it out and almost got this upset. But Montana prevails. Again, I will always give a good team credit when they find ways to win in gritty situations. Hell of a job by the Grizz.
Yeah, big time win there. No one's come out this year and said EWU is, living and dying by their defense, or that their defense.
I don't think that statement's ever been said in the last 30 years.
But in
in 1940 or
Kyler's gonna have some stats quick.
1999, actually, the defense was ranked as the best in the country, and it had a long-standing tradition of defensive football. It wasn't until Vernon Adams took over that they became this offensive power. Okay, all right, I'm sure.
The EWU offense, this is when I was sitting at my bully pulpit and preaching to you all, I'm not giving up on EWU. I kind of am. I'm kind of not, because they can do this
hold
on
to
offense.
The weirdest teams, by the
Dude,
way.
I'm a Vesperis believer. He could do this. Offense can do stuff like this, and it was a drunk game. Yes, this game was bonkers. It was being played on Mars. Every descriptor that you want to use, yes. But the offense is good. All right, they're a good offense. Montana's defense should be better. You shouldn't let EWU put up 49 on you, but they did, and they won, which is impressive. Fife was awesome. Fife was sitting in that pocket. Obviously, there wasn't a pass rush for EWU, but he was sitting in that pocket, dotting. I mean, dotting. Open guys, contested guys. An awesome game from him, which only adds more controversy for Montana in what to do, because pregame, Ayat, to many fans, they weren't aware, wasn't going to be starting this game, wasn't going to be playing. He wasn't seen in pads during warm-ups.
It said that he was hurt. He was hurt coming into the game, but that wasn't kind of the Kyle Whittingham move of, hey, guess what? Our guy's hurt and you didn't know, so get screwed. Good luck figuring that one out.
Yeah, that's rough, because Ayat comes off of a 5-touchdown performance against Western Carolina with his legs. Fife throws for 5 in this one. Is this a true quarterback controversy?
Well, it's hilarious that we're juxtaposing the game that we just talked about with Idaho, where you've got 2 young guys and, you're trying to figure it out, and your offense is not really living up to the level that you need. In the inverse here is you got 2 guys that put up stupid, ridiculous stats. I don't think there's a right answer. I got to say that if you got a quarterback who helps lead an offense to 700 yards of total offense, I would love to know where that ranks in your team's history of offensive production in games. But if Fife is able to do this, man, I think I am so extremely anti 2 quarterback systems in a game.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But if Ayat's hurt, start Fife until Ayat is 100% fully healthy. And if Fife is in a consistent stretch where he's playing not the 5 touchdowns like he had this game over 340, but if he's in the groove and the offense is looking this good against tougher opponents, I don't think you can turn back to Ayat. But the main thing, don't rush back Ayat if you do feel that desire and that need to turn back to him. It's a tough situation. It is hard to pick when you've got 2 good quarterbacks like that.
Yeah, because Ayat hasn't done a ton wrong, but if I'm sitting there, I'm like, let's see what Fife has next week. Let's see if we have a dude that can go maybe just throw for 3 touchdowns a week. Maybe he runs one in every other week. Maybe he just moves the defense down offense down the field. But Montana, what Fife did that I loved, got Junior Bergen involved. This is the key to opening up the offense. This is the reason why Gilman and Osmo, in my opinion, ran for over 100 yards and neither averaged less than 8 yards a carry in this game. Because Bergen is so fast and explosive on the outside. It was one of the few times where I approved the screen in a college football game because it went for positive yards. You have to play back. Defenses and safeties, if he's on the field, can't sneak up in the box because he will torch you deep. He's truly
such a good athlete.
Truly a weapon for this offense. stay healthy, keep them on the field, and your run game will be infinitely better because you can't cheat on defense with a guy like that on offense. You just can't, or else you're just going to get burned, and Montana may put up 52 on you again. EWU, again, not lauding their defense, but Montana putting up 701 yards, which I read was like their second most ever in total yards in team history. I think you have to roll with Fife going into this week and see what happens.
Again, to sum up this game, impressive for Montana. We'll see if EWU can string together some wins. Not a lot of defense played in this game.
I have one gripe from this game.
Okay.
Scripps Sports, which is what was broadcasting this game.
Oh, you're going to start a war that we don't need to start here.
Look, if you noticed, their graphic overlays for the line of scrimmage, first down marker, and some of the in-game advertising graphics
Sure.
were overlaid over the game and over the players. The center would constantly have a blue line.
Not everyone's ESPN, man.
I gotcha.
ESPN.
I know. It's just a little bit barnyard. I just need a little bit better.
A little bit. Don't take shots at other broadcasting companies.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that was one thing.
Poor
that was
graphics operator that's trying to figure out how to get that off the screen. You think he's like, hey, this looks great.
I'm not trying to be mean. It's just something I took note of when watching it.
You're a piece of garbage.
I'm sure.
As we established at the beginning of the show. All right, Fat Stats. What do you got? We got a couple tags this week for Fat Stats. What do you got for us?
Yeah, this was an obese week for Fat Stats. Absolutely enormous. Let's kick it off real quick with CAA. Monmouth running back Stone Ento, 15 carries, 136 yards, 5 touchdowns running the rock. Southern Utah running back Tarji Lamson, been on Fat Stats a couple times this year.
Stone
Ento.
Okay.
Yeah, 24 carries, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns for Tarji Lamson. Delaware State running back Jaden Sutton, running back dominance this year in the FCS. 20 carries, 198 yards, 2 tuds. Campbell wide receiver Sincere Brown, 5 catches, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns, 60% touchdown average per catch ratio. Stony Brook running back Roland Dempster, also been in the list a couple times, in the mix. 25 carries, 158 yards, 3 touchdowns. Montana State running back Scottree Humphrey, 27 carries, 159 yards, 3 touchdowns. Stila running back Antonio Martin Jr., 32 carries, 206, 3 touchdowns. Defenses, learn how to tackle. William & Mary running back Tyler Hughes, 3 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's insane.
What?
Central Arkansas running back Sean Derek Powell, back on the list again. Walter Payton favorite, in my opinion, 25 carries, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. Western Illinois running back Cameron Smith, 23 carries, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns. Montana quarterback Logan Fife, we already spoke about it, but 30 for 42 passing, 364 yards, 5 touchdowns through the air. EWU quarterback Akoa Vesperis, 22 for 38, 265, 4 touchdowns. He ran the rock for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns also. 6 touchdown day for Vesperis. EWU wide receiver Efton Chisholm III, 8 catches, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. To close it out, Sam Hicks from Abilene Christian, running back. He ran 12 times, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I feel like the scene in Megalopolis where Adam Driver's character is like high and drunk and he's just
he's just sitting on the wheel.
oh my god,
circus
oh
wheel.
my god, what's happening here? That's a lot to digest, but I mean I can't. I gotta go with Ento. I mean, 15 for 136. He's almost averaging 10 yards a clip, and then 5 touchdowns.
That's really strong. It was a huge game. I'm going with Vesperis, 6 touchdowns against Montana. That is insanely fat.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio. We're going to be previewing Week 7 later on in the week. And then, as always, Monday and Wednesdays at 8:30, we're live talking NFL and college football. And Fridays for the Hack Bag, call in at 201-834-4308. We'll talk to you folks later. Enjoy the rest of your week.